Good evening and welcome to Team Talk. I'm Harry Peat. Let's have a look at tonight's lineup. The best of the action from the weekend's football. We visit Kent cricket ahead of the new season. And pick of the bunch, we run you through March's Goal of the Month contenders. But first tonight, Invicta Dynamos are into the National Hockey League playoff final after beating Streatham last night. The Dynamos thrashed their visitors 10-1 at Gillingham Ice Rink to run out 13-4 winners on aggregate. It tees up a final with Chelmsford Chieftains, in which the first leg will be held in Gillingham this coming Saturday, with the return leg in Essex on Sunday. It was generally a good weekend for Kent's football sides, less so if you're a Gillingham fan. Here's a roundup of all the action. We start the action off at the Reachfield Stadium, where Hyde took on Corinthian Casuals in a battle for the Ryman South playoff places. Boss Clive Cook said last week's win against South Park was vital in keeping the Cannons promotion chase on target. But when top marksman Jay May saw red for this headbutt on Koskomeskin late in the first half, they were always going to be outgunned. And 5 minutes later, Casuals fired in the opener. Jordan Clark cut the ball onto his right, set his sights and unleashed a bullet into the top corner. The away side started the second half all guns blazing. Sean Okoji is the second best sharpshooter in the league with 26 goals, and the Casuals striker was on the mark to bundle home from this cross just after the restart. The misfiring Cannons day got worse moments later. Okoji turned provider for Josh Gallagher, who made his shot count at the second attempt. 3-0 Casuals. And the away side and Okoji weren't done there. With 6 minutes to go, Jordan Clark picked out Okoji in the box to fire a bullet header past the helpless Joe Mant. There was just enough time for Casuals to fire the killer blow. Josh Gallagher held his run and then rifled a low shot past the keeper. Hythe are now 4 points outside the playoffs. Elsewhere in the league, Chatham fought back from 2-0 down to draw 2-2 at East Grinstead. Herne Bay were thrashed 5-0 by Greenwich. Faversham played out a goalless draw with Lewis. 10-man Sittingbourne were comfortably beaten 3-0 by Whiteleaf. And Ramsgate picked up a 3-3 draw with Walton Casuals. Up one division in the Ryman Premier, Folkestone saw off Met Police 2-0 and Tunbridge picked up a 2-1 away win at Hendon. Moving up to the National League South, and Dartford were in action away at Hemel Hempstead as they looked to keep pace with Ebbsfleet in the race for promotion. The Darts team bus broke down on the way to Saturday's match, but there was no such bad luck on the pitch as they were awarded a penalty just after the hour mark. Captain Elliot Bradbrook stepped up and coolly converted the penalty away to give his side the lead. They didn't hold on to the lead for long, no. One long ball from the back cut through the Dartford defence and allowed Charlie Sheringham to score. The son of former Man United, Spurs and West Ham Teddy Sheringham kept his composure to fire past Ibrahim at the near post, a finish his dad would have been proud of. Dartford had to wait until just after the hour mark to regain the lead. Luke Wanadio collected Dwayne Afori-Achimpong's flick on before beating his man and finding the bottom corner. But with 15 minutes of the game remaining, Hemel, who were reduced to 10 men early in the game, managed to grab themselves an equaliser. Dartford failed to clear their lines, but when the ball dropped to Tony Diane, there was nothing they could do about what followed. Elsewhere in the National South, Ebbsfleet thrashed Welling 5-1, whilst Margate picked up a win against Truro. It means that Ebbsfleet are now 3 points behind leaders Maidenhead at the top of the league, while Dartford are a further 11 points behind. At the bottom of the table, Margate finally moved off the foot of the division, but they're still 12 points adrift of safety. In the National League, Ricky Miller scored his 33rd and 34th goal of the season to end Gatehead's 10-match unbeaten run and guide Dover to a 2-0 win, whilst Maidstone came from behind to beat Barrow 2-1. Dover's win puts them 2 points outside the playoffs with a game in hand. At the bottom, Maidstone's 8-game unbeaten run has seen them steer clear of the drop zone. They're 3 points ahead of Woking with 2 games in hand. And finally in League 1, Gillingham suffered last-minute heartbreak to lose 3-1 at MK Dons. With Port Vale winning 2-0 and climbing above the Gills, the Kent side are now just 2 points above Shrewsbury, who also have a game in hand. On to basketball now, and Kent Crusaders booked their spot in the Division 2 playoff semi-finals yesterday. They crushed Kilmarsh Derbyshire Arrows 83-58 at Barking Abbey to keep their league and playoff double alive. Amin Adabu top scored with 19 points, while John Shadipo picked up 15 points and 8 assists. The cricket season gets underway this week with Kent hosting Gloucestershire at Canterbury. Keelan Webster has been to the Spitfire ground to check out preparations ahead of the new campaign.
Kent's squad are all smiles ahead of the new county championship season, which begins on Friday. But those cheesy grins were a little harder to come by last September, as the squad narrowly missed out on promotion to Division 1. They've rung the changes since, with Matt Walker replacing Jimmy Adams at the helm and former Australian bowler Jason Gillespie in as interim assistant coach. The pair of them are raring to go.
The boys are in a good place. We've had a good pre-season, luckily to get away to Antigua, which was a great trip. So as far as I'm concerned, I think everyone's in a really good place, and I've loved every minute of it so far.
There's a really good vibe, really good feel. You can tell the lads care for each other and support each other and back each other in what they're striving to achieve. And good teams and good clubs have that.
Skipper Sam Northeast has been Kent's leading run scorer in each of the past 2 seasons. He believes preparations are better than ever.
I haven't seen the squad as confident and as well prepared for a long time here. And I made huge strides last year in terms of championship cricket. And if we just make those little strides again, and there was that period during the championship campaign where we went to 3 or 4 games on a winning run where we played some really excellent cricket. If we can try and replicate that, I think we'll be near.
The Spitfires came close to beating a Yorkshire side with 8 England internationals in the One Day Cup quarter-finals last season. So how do they go one step further in white ball cricket this campaign?
I think it's those big moments we need to win. We need to start winning them, and for the big players to stand up and be counted for. I think the last few years we could say, look, we're a young side. I don't think we can say that anymore.
I think to play a Lord's final would be amazing for our young players. We need to bat bigger in one-day cricket. We need probably more hundreds within the changing room, and we've certainly got the players to do that.
Confidence seems to be the overriding emotion throughout the squad, and the players believe they can be a force across all 3 formats.
We've got an incredibly talented white ball side, especially when we're at full strength with Bilbo back. We're almost unstoppable, I reckon. I think all formats for us this year is what we're going to look for.
I think we've got one of the most exciting batting lineups in the country, let alone not just the second division. And we've got some good young bowlers coming through as well. So it's really exciting. Can't wait to see what we can achieve.
Expectations are at their highest then, ahead of a big season for Kent, and the players will be hoping to see more of this when Gloucestershire come to Canterbury on Friday.
Just before we go, let's have a look at March's Goal of the Month nominees. First up is Faversham's Luke Harvey, who got the only goal of the game as they beat Moseley, and his winner came in some style with this gorgeous outside of the boot finish. Goal B is from Dartford skipper Elliot Bradbrook. The Darts ended up 5-3 winners in this topsy-turvy clash with Truro, and Bradbrook got the pick of the goals with his stunning volley. Third on the list is Guernsey's Ross Allen. The prolific frontman marked his return for the Green Lions after 6 months' absence with his solo effort in a 4-1 win against Chatham. And finally, we're back with Faversham again. Liam King with shades of Thierry Henry as he scored the 4th in a win against Chipstead. Some good finishes on there. To vote for your favourite strike, visit our Twitter handle, KM_TeamTalk. That's all from us this evening. We'll be back next Monday with all the latest sports stories from across Kent, including news of how Kent Cricket got on in their first county championship match of the season against Gloucestershire. Have a good week. Good night.